Thai to English. She got straight A's. So they actually,
why is it that Indian people, who are dark-skinned, by the way, who are subject, let's say, of a lot of prejudice, people think they're terrorists, they lump them in with radical Muslims, why do Indians come here and within a few months they're winning spelling bees? How does that work?
I would go to Jersey City, New Jersey. There's an big Indian population and a big Latino population, and I would cover news stories. And the Indian teenagers are much, better. I'm just going to say it as it is. Talk honestly about race. They're more studious. They're nerdier. You never see them toting around babies. They don't get pregnant when they're teens. The family is intact. And then
these are very embarrassing facts, and I'm sure people are cringing listening to you because they're going to call you every name under the sun. Then they'll attack me for letting you say what everyone knows to be the truth. Everyone looks at this, and they're supposed to say, I don't see what I see. But why is this happening? That's the real question. Let's go backwards. Before the Great Society of Lyndon Baines Johnson, a demagogue of his time. A demagogue who single-handedly, with a scythe, destroyed the black family. By creating the welfare state, he substituted the African-American father with the state father. They no longer needed a breadwinner to receive money to sit at home and have babies. They had the state doing it. And what happened was businesses, there were once thousands, tens of thousands of small businesses in these African-American communities that literally disappeared in a few years because they were not needed anymore. This has been well studied by sociologists over decades. The Great Society, meaning socialism, decimated the black family in the estimation of many dignified scholars. That's what we're saying, isn't it?
Exactly. The black family was better.
All right, so Obama's continuing this decimation of the black family by putting out the big lie.
And he rolled back Clinton's Welfare Reform Act. Holder puts the crack dealers back on the streets. I saw the success in the inner city in Newark, New Jersey, when welfare was reformed, when there were mandatory drug sentences for drug dealers, not for kids with marijuana. Obama rolled that back. He's damaging. The black family was better than the white family in the Martin Luther King era. Only 11% out of wedlock until Obama and the big government got their hooks in them.
Well, I'm glad that you know the truth. It's that simple. And Obama is using the same demagoguery to put out the big lie that the communities themselves are suffering without saying why they're suffering. I'm sending you a copy of my best-selling book, Countdown to Mecca, out last week. Sold very, very well the first week, despite the media blackout. I wasn't allowed on Fox News because of the Leprechaun and Martha Washington. They'll have a pimp on or a terrorist. They'll have a drug dealer on. They'll have any degenerate they can get their hands on for ratings, but they won't have an American national treasure, Michael Savage, on because Martha Washington is afraid of competition. And I have to tell you how thin-skinned the Leprechaun is. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
My Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com. It's the only company I trust to protect my wealth. Call 800-BUY-COIN. 855-400-7282. So Obama continues to attack the police and justify the thuggers who are burning down cities. And he gets away with it. And what's even more perplexing, not really perplexing, is that the police unions and the top brass are Democrats, by and large. Why? Because of the fact that they're invited to the White House. Number two, they get huge pensions, huge pensions. He then signs a law taking away some military equipment from police, which they need to protect themselves from machine gun-toting gangs. At the same time, he militarizes the military by having them conduct exercises in Texas, which are scaring the heck out of people. You know about that? You know about that? You didn't hear about that? Didn't make it to your local paper? Jade Helm exercises in Texas. U.S. Marines training to intern U.S. citizens. Didn't read about that. Didn't make it to your paper, eh? At the same time Satan is doing that, he is taking away military-grade equipment from the local police. Can you not see the connection? You can't put two and two together? I can. 855-400-7282. Any topic is fair game. Let's take a quick call right now. KSF. Oh, no, I don't want to take KSFO. Oh, there it is. Gail on KSFO. Go ahead, please. You're on the Savage Nation.
Hi. First, thank you so much for talking about not legalizing recreational marijuana. That needs to be said. I thank you for that very much. But I'm calling because I'm really supporting and behind Elizabeth Warren for the work she's trying to do for the middle class. And I guess when you call her...
Well, hold it. She's known as a radical leftist. How does that jive with the middle class?
Because she comes from the middle class and because she's trying to pass laws...
Well, so did Karl Marx come from the middle class. So what does that have to do with anything? Well, what are her main points? What is she trying to achieve?
She's trying to turn the trend away from building up corporate America into remembering the middle class.
What does that mean by building up corporate America? Why is corporate America so evil? I don't understand this, the whole bugaboo of the left. Corporate America is evil. Most of our country is run by corporations. What makes corporations inherently evil when they consist mainly of people? What makes a corporation inherently evil? I don't understand it.
Well, it's the only way that I could express what I'm...
Express what? That anyone who's successful is no good? Don't you understand Elizabeth Warren feeds the rage against successful people, and all she's going to do is push race division, class warfare, and hatred. That's how she got where she is in the communist state of Massachusetts. Ask the people who know her what she stands for. I don't agree with you, my friend.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE. Savage.
So the Clinton cartel is trying to push the old lady into the presidency, and even the left is pissed off at her. In plain English, they know she's a fraud and basically a money-grubbing creep who's out for herself and the family. So then they're pushing another woman, Elizabeth Warren, only because she's a woman, a fanatical leftist. If you look at Elizabeth Warren positions, they're right out of any university playbook. You look at the same crap we've heard for 30 years now. Renewable energy and energy efficiency. Get rid of coal. Get rid of old, dirty energy like oil and coal. Instead, move to green technology. In other words, kill the eagles with windmills and stuff the pockets of special interests with solar projects that produce not a kilowatt. So we've heard this before. It's been tried everywhere. It's not working. Now, we all want clean energy. I'd love to have a solar car. I'd love to have a cell on the roof of my house where I didn't have to use PG&E. It's not here. It's not here. And so, sure, I believe in research, but don't destroy the industries that are providing cost-effective energy in order to get there. That's insanity, but that's the left again. That's the academic approach. Kill coal, kill oil, and don't have a replacement yet, and make sure that the gangsters make a fortune in alternative energy. Now, education. Again, she says, we need good public schools, good public universities, good technical training. Really? Well, we had that for a very long time in America. What happened to it? You want a little answer, Miss Warren? I'll give you an answer as a former educator. The schools were flooded with illegal immigrants who do not speak the language, and 25% or more of the school budgets were given to ESL, English as a second language, and so that the money that should have been spent on advancing the knowledge of native-speaking peoples is now being spent educating illegal immigrants in speaking the rudiments of the language of the land. That's number one. There are also other special interests that have poached out or stolen the scarce resources of our schools, and I can list them for you because I'm an expert in educational spending. So don't tell me we need more educational spending. We actually need smarter educational spending. We need less money on affirmative action. We need less money on ethnic studies, less money on all of these special interest departments that shouldn't exist, no more bilingual education, and then you'll suddenly find out that we can have good schools again. And it doesn't require more money, it requires less money. So I disagree with her on that. Now we go to the next platform of the socialist Pocahontas. Roads, water, and other infrastructure. Remember infrastructure last week with the train crash? Infrastructure? Well, it turns out nothing to do with infrastructure, but they want more money for road building. Why? Because all roads lead to the unions. Remember what you're listening to. Why do you think they want trillions of dollars now for infrastructure spending before Satan leaves the White House? Because the unions will make trillions of dollars on the money that they steal from the middle class to rebuild the roads, the bridges, and the tunnels, which, by the way, may need rebuilding in many places. I didn't say the train crash was a result of that. But I did say last week that I don't know of a tunnel in a major city that isn't leaking. I don't know of a bridge across a major city that is not rusting. Okay? Research. They want more money for new research. Well, we could argue about that. Finally, she wants workers' rights. And listen to what she says, Elizabeth Warren. We need to make it easier for workers to want to organize together to have that chance. Unionization. The opposite of Reaganomics is Warrenomics. Warrenomics is a retrograde view of the economy. It didn't work. It won't work. It never will work. Then she wants free and fair trade, whatever that means. Trade laws. What does that mean? That the countries we compete with also respect workers' rights? Good luck, Elizabeth. Why don't you see if you can get your communist friends in China to agree with you on that? So the whole thing's smoke and mirrors from Elizabeth Warren. And, of course, that's why she's been able to pull in some gullible people. They don't really analyze that it's been tried before and it doesn't work. 855-400-7282. KKOB Radio. Mary, you're up on the Savage Nation. On which topic? Go ahead, please.
Hi. I was calling because well, first of all, Dr. Savage, I think that you're very smart, and almost everything you say I agree with. So I was just calling about marijuana, and I wanted to say that when I was in high school, I would smoke marijuana before a test, and I would always do very well. But then when I didn't, I wouldn't do very well. So I'm not saying that it made me smarter. I just got better grades, and I don't really know why.
And where are you in life right now? Are you a successful professional or what?
I am. The company that hired me sent me to Pepperdine University, and obviously working for a company, I couldn't smoke, but it was more difficult for me versus...
So you find marijuana gives you better concentration? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I do very well when I smoke it. Now, I don't smoke it anymore, but I had to kind of rationalize why did I do so well when I was younger.
No, so maybe you have a brain that reacts to some of the cannabinoids in a positive manner. But for a wholesale use, I totally oppose legalization. I would like to see it decriminalized. And I would like to see much more research done on the medicinal applications of various and sundry cannabinoids rather than wholesale people going out and using the doctor's prescription, the fake prescriptions that abound in America now just to get high, which is what it's all about. You got shady doctors looking to make a buck. So you go into these clinics, you give them whatever, and then they say you got this, you got that, you got headaches, you got arthritis, here's your prescription. You go to one of these shyster drug dealers, and they're getting it to get high, which weakens a nation. I look at it, in this case, I look at it from a medical point of view and, frankly, a moral point of view. The nation is rotting. I cannot understand how this would strengthen a nation to have more people stoned rather than less people stoned. Moreover, marijuana is known to have deadly effects on developing brains. I don't know if you know any of that, but I appreciate you calling. I am sending you something to concentrate on over the weekend, my best-selling novel called Countdown to Mecca. I'm sure you'll find it a fun, fast read. It is the Savage Nation. I know every time I do the marijuana subject, I get tons of callers of people who defend marijuana. It's sort of an addiction itself. They immediately say, oh, you're just pushing alcohol. I haven't said that. You didn't hear me pushing alcohol. I'm trying to give you a rational, scientific opinion on the cannabinoids for medical use as opposed to the recreational use. They're not the same thing. And I can't seem to get that across to people. So let's go to the welfare issue. Or let's go to a physician at KKOH in Reno. Joe, you've been holding. Go ahead, please. What's on your mind?
Thank you, Dr. Savage. I wanted to talk about the cannabis issue, cannabinoids, and you had mentioned CBD, cannabidiol. This is an active cannabinoid, but THC is also a chemical that binds to cannabinoid receptors. THC.
I'm sorry, Joe, you're breaking up. I would love to hear what you have to say, but you're in a very bad zone. Yes, CBD is a very important component of marijuana, and it is used extensively in medicine. And the godfather of this is a great scientist in Israel, Raphael Mechoulam, who I told you about. His father was a physician, a concentration camp survivor, and he didn't come here complaining and crying about the concentration camps. In fact, they emigrated to Israel, where he later studied chemistry. And his first research experience in the Israeli army was working on insecticides. And from that, he went into medicinal chemistry.